Holmes, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you wearing a...
False nose? No.
Tell me that wasn't...
That wasn't.
Holmes! Where are you going?
What's that?
They called me. I said, great, who's our Watson? We narrowed it down to only Jude would do. And then by the time we met, for some reason or other, I don't know what it was just this thing where it wasn't about trying to convince him to do the movie, even though we were, you hadn't said you would, and we just started working. You ever know that one when you meet someone that you think you know, and next thing you know, you pick up like you've had a conversation going on for 6 months?
Yeah, you can't, you know, you can't sit in a room and ask, you know, will you do this, will you do that, will you do that? Because at the end of the day, you're going to wait for those questions to be answered. If it just starts there and then organically, and you leave that initial meeting thinking, I think I want to spend 6 months, a year, whatever, with these people because I trust them and it's going to be a ball, then you go for it. And that happened with Robert and I immediately, and I think the same evening we then sat down with Guy, who I knew a little. I'd never met Robert before. Sat with Guy, who I did know a little, and it was very clear that there was a very natural sense of trust and excitement.
And the relief we saw in Guy's eyes when he saw us sitting together, and you know, he's really quite a formidable guy, and he's really someone when he says, that looks right, or that doesn't, or I buy this, or I don't buy that, you believe him, because he's just really earnest. So by the time we were down in the lobby here, and Guy looked over and he was like, he was looking at me like, this is it, right? And I was like, well, obviously, and then Jude just kind of left, had somewhere to be, and we knew we were going to be all right after that.
It's not my reputation that's at stake here.
Don't try that.
Have the newspapers got wind of it yet?
Well, that's what we're trying to avoid, sir.
Certainly. What's the major concern?
Panic. Sheer bloody panic, sir.
Indeed.
You're not taking this seriously, are you, Holmes?
Yes, as you should. It's a matter of professional integrity.
What was exciting was that, for me, going back to the source material and realizing, as you rightly pointed out, that there are all these complications. It was more just reading the books, and I've been boxing and training for the last 5 years, so it was just doing more of that and keeping fit and keeping in shape. And growing a big tash, and that was it, really.
The tash did a lot, and me too. You know, more on the eastern than the western side, which really fit for Sherlock. So sometimes you realize that, you know, even though it's not all event specific, that you've been drawn towards certain things that wind up having a direct payoff in your professional life or for a certain project anyway. And then between the two of us is Guy, who's a very Western guy mentality-wise, and he's very, you know, rooted and kind of simple, brilliant guy. And then he likes to spend a lot of time rolling around on the floor, tying people up, doing jiu-jitsu. So between the two of that, actually our first interaction together was a day where this poor stuntman, a guy came in, he was like, now you want to kind of do it like this, and you get him right in the crook of your thing, and the poor guy must have almost passed out 20 times, because by that time Jude really nailed what the chokehold was. Even if you did it lightly, the guy was
actually, that's one of the first shots of the film. You watch the shot, and this stunt guy goes purple.
Oh my
poor
God!
guy.
You'd have thought they actually did a CGI effect and colored his face. Particularly once he gets him in the chokehold, I grab his nose, which, by the way, could have seemed comic, but it instantly put us working together on a common goal, which is getting rid of this one bad guy.
First, distract target. Then block his blind jab. Counter with cross to left cheek. Discombobulate. Dazed, he'll attempt wild haymaker. Weaken right jaw. Now fracture. Break cracked ribs. Heel kick to diaphragm. In summary, ears ringing, jaw fractured, 3 ribs cracked, 4 broken, diaphragm hemorrhaging. Physical recovery, 6 weeks. Full psychological recovery, 6 months. Capacity to spit it back of head, neutralized.